Welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to Cosmic Theater. I'm your host, Dr. Franklin Ruehl, and now another 7 classic openings from 1950s TV shows. Roll tape.
Time for a special edition of Cosmic Theater. We're going to show you not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, but 7 openings from classic 1950s TV shows, beginning with The Racket Squad, starring Reed Hadley, followed by Rocky Jones Space Ranger, starring Richard Crane, followed by The Lone Wolf, starring Louis Hayward, followed by One Step Beyond, starring John Newland, followed by Mystery Theater, starring Tom Conway, followed by Captain Midnight, starring Richard Webb, and winding up with Rocky King Detective, starring Roscoe Karn. Now, without further ado, let's see these openings. Roll tape.
What you're about to see is a real-life story, taken from the files of the police racket and bunco squads, business detective associations, and similar sources all over the country. It is intended to expose the confidence game. The carefully worked-out men take more money each year from the American public than all the bank robbers and thugs with their violence. Next. Ready. Very often, the victims of confidence men are little, unsuspecting people. Innocent victims who cannot afford to be hurt, who have nothing to fight back with afterward. No way of making a fresh start. These are always the most poignant cases, the ones that break your heart, as in the case of George Weber, which is filed under the heading of the Sting of Fate.
My wife will be right here.
Okay, I'll wait.
Oh, here she comes now. Thanks for waiting.
No trouble with you? Oh.
I'm sorry, dear.
Linda!
Oh!
Linda, you
Oh!
hurt?
My leg! My leg!
Well, what happened? What did you do?
Like I caught my shoe in the rug.
The rug.
Look at the way those ends are separated.
Yes, it's outright carelessness to leave a rug that way. Come on, honey, I'll get you back to our room. Can you stand up?
Oh, I can't bring it up.
Would...
Rocky Jones, Space Ranger, starring Richard Crane. In Inferno in Space, Chapter 1.
Held in my hand. There's nothing left but the lead.
Well, made of it disintegrated. Polarized just like the chart. You know, something's very wrong here.
The clipboard. It fell off the hook. Look, Rocky. My clipboard, too. It's turned to dust.
What again? Ground into powder.
I'm scared, Rocky. What's going on?
Trouble in the control section. Metometer and ion trap out of order. Stand by. Wait for orders. Nevada, one of the gambling meccas of the West. Most of its visitors are interested in making a 10 or a 4 the hard way. I had another interest for being here. To be exact, a woman who was supposed to have been killed during the war with 9 of my men back in July of 1944. By chance, I read that she was opening at a smart night spot in New York City. I sent her my medallion with a message. She didn't wait. Just packed and got out of town. It took a little while, but I learned she'd gone to Reno. I had a lot of questions aching for answers. They all spelled a double-crossing dame. Yvette Marchand. Reno, Paris, Buenos Aires, they're all alike if you're looking for someone. If you have the right friends, every city becomes a small town. I made a few calls. The word went out that I wanted Yvette Marchand. She was something special. But I bumped into something even more special.
Mike Lanyard? That's right. I'm Inspector Stillman from the Bureau. I'd like to have you come with me.
What for?
Murder.
Got a special reason for picking me?
Real special. You left your calling card by one of the bodies.
Someone was going to say just before he said it. Or have you ever walked into a strange room and had the sensation that you'd been there before? Well, if you have, you've taken a small step beyond. Now watch a giant step. Do you like ancient castles? Well, this is a very special one. There are no ghosts of Wales. Well, that'll change. And there's nobody buried in the walls. But there is something that sets it quite apart. Something that happened in this very room centuries ago. As a matter of fact, it is still happening.
They told me you were the cleverest physician in all Europe. And this man's been with me for 20 years. And yet you stand here, the two of you in your velvet robes, like a couple of scrawny old women.
I have bled the boy 7 times with leech and lancet. I have used lotions and emetics and plasters.
If he's dying, you've done nothing.
Mystery Theater. Starring Tom Conway as Inspector Mark Saber of the Homicide Squad in the case of the Snowman murder.
He's dead. He's dead.
Dead? He can't be. You're nuts.
Well, he's in there with a scissors sticking between his shoulder blades.
You two stay here. If anybody comes by, say nothing. Just keep him out of the room. Last paperweight. Strange thing to find in a fighter's hand.
Notice the snow still falling on the little man?
Yeah.
High above a large city stands the headquarters of a man devoted to the cause of freedom and justice. A war hero who has never stopped fighting against his country's enemies. A private citizen who is dedicating his life to the struggle against evil men everywhere. Captain Midnight.
What are you working on, Tut?
Universal electronic key.
What's that?
Well, it's a regular key, but I've juiced it up with a 10 milliwatt charge of free electrons. Concentrating them on selected magnetic points. And those points attract the critical tumblers in any lock.
Rocky King, Detective, starring Roscoe Carnes as Rocky King, Chief of Homicide of a Metropolitan Police Force in an exciting fight against crime. Now, Rocky King, Detective, and Murder in Advance. All right, Gray. You've made your point. No! Don't you dare ever pull a stunt like that again.
You know, Jason, sometimes you think you're as tough as the characters in those books you write.
Go! Oh, go! Go! Okay. You may recall that previously I showed you 7 classic openings. I gave them an A on the Ruehl TV scale, where A is best, F worst. These were good, but not quite as good, so they get a collective B-plus rating. And about the only place you can see these programs is right here on Mysteries from Beyond the Other Dominion, classic TV from the 1950s.
Now, until next time, may the power of the cosmos be with you. Yes, yes, yes.